You're watching F5. We're at Red Hat Summit 2023 here in Boston. I'm joined by Hart from Mobia. Mobia is a partner that we deal with up in Canada, actually. So I'm Canadian, and I've dealt with Mobia before. Hart, how are you doing this week?
I'm good, Boo. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So what kind of stuff have you been up to, as far as Mobia has been up to, as far as F5 and Red Hat stuff?
Yeah, we're still seeing it everywhere, especially in the OpenShift space, right? Very pervasive in the enterprise, load balancing, traffic management, DNS, failing over of applications, providing availability. So it's, especially in that world where, we're trying to deliver applications, we're trying to be agile and flexible across, different cloud providers, on-prem, those types of things like that. So we come across it a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so one thing I was thinking about as you were talking about that is enterprises, they're used to some of those services already putting up part of their NetOps team, and then when they move to an OpenShift platform, do you find some people kind of expect that it should already be there, and then they kind of go back and realize, oh, we need to bring our F5s back into the fold, or are they planning ahead already?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time the F5 is the de facto way to get traffic into some sort of platform or cluster or what have you. So, OpenShift's no different. There is ways to have ingress come into the cluster without F5, but most enterprises we're comfortable with F5. We have a team that manages with F5. Our security terminations and stuff, certificate management, all that stuff goes through the F5. So just naturally, it does sit in front of OpenShift a lot of the time. Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys have taken people through getting their F5s integrated. Is it more of like a process to get them integrated, or what do you see as a challenge? Like people just not understanding exactly how things fit together, or they just have to take more time to plan it out?
Yeah, I think you're working with a traditional network team at the end of the day, right? When we're talking about OpenShift and containerization, automation comes up a lot, right? And automating the big IP, there's a lot of great ways to do that with Ansible, with other, API calls, those types of things like that. But, integrating that into, the overall deployment methodology is, not always, you don't always get that luxury. So it's about, we understand the big IP, we understand the requirements to support, something like OpenShift. So translating that to the network team to say, here's what you need to set up. Here's what you need to, make a successful deployment of OpenShift, and obviously day two and, all that other stuff down the road. So it's, that's what we do good at Mobia is we are able to work with the different teams, bring them together, have those conversations, because a lot of the time we may be working with an infrastructure team, a platform team that, wants to deploy OpenShift or has a use case to deploy OpenShift, but they're not the network team. They don't own, that part of the infrastructure. So we're able to bridge that gap, have that common conversation, bring the teams together.
Nice, very cool. You guys are enjoying Red Hat Summit so far, I would assume. What kind of stuff have you picked up so far this week?
Yeah, it's been great. Like even seeing some old colleagues, people in industry, partners, we work with a lot of these partners, right? And that's one of the unique things about Mobia is, we're not just doing F5, we're not just doing Red Hat, we're taking all these different solutions and providing that expertise of how they work together, why you should use them together, and the best way to use them together. So it's, it's a lot of that. It's, being able to see some demos, ask the technical people, those deep questions about the technology and get some real feedback. We like to spend a lot of time working with stuff and hands-on and getting familiarized with the technology, but when we're working with all these different partners, all these different solutions, everything's changing so fast, it's harder to do, right? So if we can just kind of drill down and say, how does this work? What's the difference between this? What's the best way to do this? It's a good way to kind of bang some of that stuff off in a short period of time.
That's awesome. Actually, that's a good point. So if you come by the F5 booth, we're at 769. We have product managers, we have solution architects here, people that are actually working on the solutions. Matt Mabus is one of the ones that has been working on a solution that we released this week as well. So great opportunity to come and meet those people who are actually putting together the solutions that you'll see here. Hart, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, Boo, thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right. So you should be watching and following all this content. You can follow myself. You can follow the DevCentral channel here all week, putting out content. Thank you very much for following, and we'll see you on the next one.